Today the lecture is lecture number 3, theory of machines. आज हमने टाइप्स ऑफ मोशन के बारे में पढ़ना है, जो कि तीन टाइप्स की हैं जनरली इन मैकेनिक्स: completely constrained motion, incomplete constrained motion and successfully constrained motion. So one by one we will discuss each and every type of motion. First, what is constrained motion? Completely constrained motion. So when the motion between a pair is limited to a definite direction, irrespective of the direction of the force applied, then the body is said to be constrained motion. So there's a definite motion, definite directional irrespective of the forces. So in complete constrained motion, there is a definite direction irrespective of the direction of the force. Okay, for example, the piston and the cylinder form a pair, and the motion of the piston is limited to a definite direction. It will only reciprocate. This is the definite direction of the piston with respect to cylinder, relative to the cylinder, irrespective of the direction of the crank. The motion of the scare bar in a scare hole and the motion of the shaft with collars at each end in a circular hole are also the examples of completely constrained motion. So, completely constrained motion is a definite direction, is a definite has a definite direction. It doesn't depends on the direction applied of on the force. So it has a definite direction, and the motion is irrespective of the direction of the force. Now, moving towards the diagram, this is the general diagram. Diagram shows a circular hole. So a scare bar in a scare hole. So the scare hole will move to forward or backward. This is the definite direction, and the shaft with a collar in a these are the collars, and the shaft has only circular motion. So these are the constrained motion, that is completely constrained motion. Moving towards second type, that is incomplete constrained motion. So in incomplete constrained motion, when the motion between a pair can take place in more than one direction, so then the motion is an incomplete constrained motion. So when a motion between a pair can take place in more than one direction, जब हमारी जो डायरेक्शन ऑफ मोशन है वो एक डायरेक्शन से ज़्यादा है, then this is incomplete constrained motion. The examples are a circular bar or a shaft in a circular hole, or as it may rotate or slide. So there is not a collar. First case में हमारा previously case में we have a collar there. So collar होने की वजह से they will not rotate, they will just slide. Now or slide or rotate. Now there is no collar, so they will either rotate, that is this, they will rotate or they will translate. So they have direction more than one. This is the type of incomplete constrained motion. So in incomplete constrained motion, the body will move more than uh, one type of motion. So in this type, for example, shaft in a circular hole, they can rotate and they can translate as well. Now the third part or third type is successfully constrained motion. So when the motion between the elements forming a pair is such that the constrained motion is completed by itself, is not completed by itself but some other means, they are called successfully constrained motion. So successfully constrained motion में जो motion है वो itself complete नहीं होती, but there is some outsourcing, or there is another link or a mechanism to perform this. So when the motion between the elements forming a pair is such that the constrained motion is not completed by itself but some other means. For example, the motion of IC engine valves, these are kept on this seat by spring, and the piston reciprocating inside an engine cylinder are the examples of successfully constrained motions. So these are generally the types of three types of motions. Now the diagram this shows that this is the footstep bearing, and this load will shift. For example, this load, that is the external source, will move this shaft inward and outward. That is, it will translate. Okay, so this is the outsource. So when there's an outsource that will complete a constraint, this type of um, motion is known as successfully constrained motion. So hope you will understand. These are the completely constrained motion, that they will move uh, in a specific direction irrespective of the force. Incomplete constraint, it will move, what translated, it will move in two directions, in more than, or simply it will move in more than one direction. And successfully constrained motion, then when we need a special element, special extra element, or additional force to constrain the motion, it's known as successfully constrained motion. Hope you will understand. Now at last we have a video to understand. So this this constrained motions are there. First, the completely constrained motion. So this is the animation. For example, in complete constrained motion, first one, it will just translate. It will move forward or backward. Yes, that is scare bar in a scare hole. This is the first type of, or shaft with the collar. So these are the two types of first type of the motion, having two examples. Incomplete constrained motion. This will translate as well as this will rotate. So it has two type two. It will perform two motions. And successfully constrained motion, in, there's an external source or external load will be there to perform the constrained motion. So there must be a third party. For example, uh, if there are four bar mechanism, so we need an extra source, or extra link to perform this constrained motion. So these are these are the three types of motions to perform. So hope you will understand each and everything. Goodbye from this lecture.